Angie here from Pear Collections. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. We are filming another Style Tips and Tricks edition with our amazing featured guest. She is Christine from the incredible Corporate Escapist magazine, and we are officially going to start our Corporate Escapist Life to Find Self-Love series. Thank you so much for joining us again today, Christine.
Oh, thanks, Angie. So excited about this topic. So.
Oh, I know. Now, if anyone hasn't watched last week's episode, make sure you watch that before this week's, simply because last week we went in and got to know Christine a little bit so that you guys can start creating that connection and learn a little bit more about her journey, what we're kind of going to delve in a little bit deeper today. So just to make sure you know what's going on, go and watch that first video. But just like the title of the series, we are going to be really focusing on the concept of finding your own self-love. Now, it's important to have self-love for yourself, but it's also important to have it for your community and for your business, whether you have a business or you work for someone else. It's something that I know we both hold really near and dear to our heart, the concept of self-love and self-worth. So I thought I'd shape this whole series around it. Have a bit of fun.
Absolutely. Why not?
It's just such a passion. And I think between the two of us, we're really on the same page that really recognizing your worth can really just change your life. And it's changed both of ours. So I really hope our listeners will get a lot out of this series and really be inspired to do the same.
Yeah.
So my first question today is, what does self-love and the concept of self-love mean to you?
Self-love to me, and that the whole concept around it is, in life, we all want someone to love us. We all want our mum and dad, we want brothers and sisters, we want a partner to love us. But we need to learn how to love ourselves first, because we actually need to show others how we want to be loved. And if we are not loving on ourselves, then how can we expect other people to love on us as well? And I think that we forget that we should be giving back to ourselves first, opposed to always giving to everyone else. And I know that as women, we normally are the ones that give. But what if you just took out time for yourself to find out who you are, what you love, and just actually really love on yourself, say some kind words. So I think you need to teach yourself how you want to be loved. And that's the whole concept of self-love for me.
I love that so much. It's so important. And you're right. We always tend to take care of ourselves last, prioritize ourselves last, and give time and value to ourselves last. So yeah, 100% agree with that. Now with you as well in your journey, why has it been such a groundbreaking change in your life to have rediscovered the sense and importance of self-love for you?
Well, I mean, if you watched last week's episode, and I talked about I had my not so gracious exit. So, 6 years ago, I hit rock bottom. I got really, really sick. And what I realized in part of that, I wasn't giving to myself. So there probably would have been signs that, I'm a big believer that the universe gives you signs, but there were signs, I was always tired. I wasn't eating well. I wasn't nourishing myself. And not giving to myself also helped contribute, I guess, to part of that. And what I've learned is that I cannot be the best person I can be if I'm constantly giving to everybody else and not giving to myself. We've all heard about, the cup half filled, or you got to fill your own cup first, and, the oxygen mask on, when you're flying. But how many times do we actually take stock and listen to it? So it took something so severe, to happen for me to actually learn it. And this is why I'm passionate about it, because I don't want anyone to go through what I went through. I want to encourage people to love on themselves as much as they love on everybody else, because you're worthy. You deserve it. You're amazing. And if you've never said that to yourself, take a moment and just repeat after me. I am worthy. I am amazing. I am lovable. And when you do that, you sort of sit there going, oh, I say that to everyone else, but they never say it to me. So that's not a much short answer, but that is why I'm so passionate about it, because I just don't want anyone to go through what I went through.
I love that. And again, I think that's why we connected instantly, because Pear Collections was created because I didn't want teenagers to grow up crying in fitting rooms, because that always is what happened. Anytime I tried to buy pants, tops I never had issues with, because I have such a small frame, I can work it on the top section. But pants, I remember when I first moved to Australia, I went home after a year, and I needed new pants desperately. And I refused to do it in Australia. And when I went home, my sister noticed that it had gone a little bit too long. I needed to get some new pants. So she forced me, she's much larger than me and she's much stronger, forced me to go shopping. And during that shopping trip, again, I broke down crying. And I remember being like, I told you I didn't want to do this. I told you it wouldn't be fun. I hate my body. I hate doing this. I want to leave. And I don't want people to have to do that. I don't want people to feel like that. Because it really breaks you down. If you say it once, fine. If you say it twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, it can really cause significant damage to your self-worth and your sense of self. You know, and it's horrible to experience it yourself. But for me, and I think for you, because we're such caring people, it's horrible to watch other people do it. So how have you, since you've learned to prioritize your self-love and, you know, doing, I don't know if you do affirmations or, I love affirmations, they're great. But, you know, really prioritizing your self-talk and your self-love for yourself. How have you since incorporated that into your daily life, and into your business life as well?
Yeah, I think that the first real turning point for me was understanding core values. So these are the values that I stand for. So that for me, it was, you know, letting go of certain people that were no longer serving me a good purpose in my life. And then having those values allowed me to sort of, in a way, set these boundaries that I didn't have to say, well, I'm not doing that because of my boundaries. I'm saying it's no, because they're not aligned to my values. So it shifted everything for me. And because I had those values, because I included self-worth, because I included, you know, love, family, respect, integrity, I'm like, well, if I want that from other people, I actually have that for myself. So it was actually a good reflection. It was sort of like a mirror exercise. It's like, well, if I want that from others, I've got to have that for myself. So knowing that I wanted to show, like, authenticity is right at the top for me. So I needed to be authentic. And I needed to say, I'm not having a good day. Or, you know what? I am a plus size woman. And there are things that I can't change about that. But you know what? I'm going to love on myself as much as I can, because my body is my vehicle for where I want to go. So imagine if you treated your car with such disrespect that then it couldn't get you to where you want to go. That's what not loving your body is all about, because your body is your vehicle of where you want to go in life. So whether you like it or you don't like it, love on it, because it's going to get you to where you want to go.
I love that so much. That is so true. And I think it's something that we typically always learn that when our body breaks.
Yes.
You forget that, like you said, it's the vehicle. Like, until your body breaks down, you forget how important it is to do anything. So if you are constantly talking or thinking negatively about it, you're almost self-sabotaging your own health and your own future with it. Love that analogy. So good. The concept also, I find, of self-love and following your passion is also extremely tied together. I think a lot of people, when you meet people who are really happy, really passionate, really just elated of where they are in life and who they are, they typically have a good sense of self and self-love, and they're following their passion, whatever it is. So I think it's something that a lot of men and women, but a lot more women of all different shapes, colors, sizes, backgrounds, we all really need to work a bit harder on focusing on that self-love, and again, treating it like an actual car. Like, if you aren't going to go in and get maintenance checks or, you know, checkups, your body's going to eventually break down on you.
And it does break.
It breaks.
Oh, trust me, it breaks.
It breaks, and then it takes a lot longer than just buying a new car. You can't buy a new body. Science hasn't gotten there yet.
Nope.
No, I love the way of breaking it down like that. And for anyone who wants to learn a little bit more about the concept of self-love and creating and starting from scratch to help you create more of self-worth in your life, we do have a kind of a checklist that you can start doing now. So I have that linked in our description today. that you can just go to our blog and read that. I actually go through, I think it's something like 12 or something tips of just starting to do on a daily basis, of starting to train your brain to start thinking a different way. Super helpful. It's one of the things I use. I'm sure you did something similar to stop saying one thing about your body or yourself and changing it in a different way. And so I've got that linked in, but more importantly, I do have Christine's entire journey of who she is. I've got all of her socials. I've got her beautiful business. I've got the link to the magazine that we were featured in, which is all about, you even have a checklist actually in that magazine as well.
Actually. Yes, I do. But it's, you know, the funny thing is that, you know how sometimes I think you're the same, is that you forget how far you've come until you actually write something down.
Yep.
And it's like crazy going, oh yeah, that's right. You know, because I just do it now. But yeah, when we're talking about it, yeah. And just like me talking to you today, I've like gone, that's right. That's what I did do. So.
Yeah. And I'm also really big at like stopping and actually considering that, like considering how far you have come in anything, you know, where were you a year ago? What were you thinking about a year ago? And we actually, as human beings, do so much in a year, but we get caught up in the day-to-day things that we forget.
Yes.
But we actually all accomplish so many great things. So I definitely will have all of Christine's links in there. Definitely do download the digital copy of the Corporate Escapist magazine as well, because in this edition, Christine, in the first section of the magazine, does a bit of a chat as well. In the very first bit, your kind of welcome section that you did. Loved that part. I thought it was a really great intro to this whole edition of the concept of being who you are and being proud of it. Loved it. So highly suggest for you guys to read that. And then make sure to also check next week for our third edition in this series, where we dive even deeper into the concept of this. And we really get in there and hopefully inspire you guys to start the process, continue the process, or continue evolving in the process. So thank you so much, Christine. This episode has been amazing again.
Oh, love chatting to you. It's amazing. Love it.
Same. Well, until next time, everyone, as always, love your curves.